Hi, so after you've had your mission at Aalborg University or any other university in Denmark, what next do you do? Of course, you have to pay fees. If you do not have any scholarship like me, the next thing after admission is to pay fees. Now, for those who have been asking about the different intakes, Aalborg University have two main intakes. You have the September and the February intake. If we say February intake, we mean you're beginning school in February, or September intake, it means school begins in September. Now, for the September intake, the admission period is usually from mid December to the 1st of March. So, for those who want to be here by September 2024, now is actually the time for you to compile your documents for admission so that immediately it's mid December, you can start applying. And then, if you apply and the deadline is the 1st of March, by June 10, you should be expecting the admissions decision. But I got my admission decision in May. It didn't wait up to June. And for the February intake, the admissions period is usually from mid-August to I think mid-October. So within that period. Now time has already passed if you were wishing to come for the February intake. So you can start preparing for the September intake. And for the February intake, you usually get your admission decision by November 10. And like I said, they can do that before, but know that by November 10, you should know whether you have given admission or not. Yes, so after you've had admissions, then you now go to paying your fees. For many people, they always like that those who are out of the country or those who are in the country where the school is to pay their fees so that they don't experience the long waiting and other bank charges that usually come with paying fees. But for me, I use my bank account in Cameroon because I was banking with an international bank. That's also because if anything goes wrong and they have to refund your fees, they'll normally send the fees back to the account that was paid, that they used to pay the fee. So I always prefer that I use my bank account so that even if they are doing a refund, they'll refund it back to my account without having any third party. Now, if you want to pay your fees in Cameroon, what are the documents that you need to take to these banks in order for you to pay your fees? Stay with me to the end of the video.
If you're just joining us, this is Educate Nadez, the village girl, and I am doing a series on village girl travels. I'm telling my audience on how I was able to leave Cameroon to a point where I went to Denmark as a student. Presently, I'm at Aalborg University in Denmark and I'm studying Master of Arts in Culture, Communication and Globalization. Welcome to this episode of Village Girl Travels.
Now, if you want to pay your fees in Cameroon, what are the documents that you need to take to these banks in order for you to pay your fees? The first thing is that you need to have the money. So I'm already assuming that you went to the school's website and checked how much your fee is. For social science programs like mine, culture, communication and globalization, master's degree, I paid like 25,000 Danish crowns, yes, which is an equivalent of over 2.2 million francs CFA in Cameroon. So I had the money already. And then when you have the money, you also have to understand that there will be transfer charges. You are doing an international transfer, so there will be bank charges. But my bank charges were not that much. You have to consult with your bank in order for them to know how much you're supposed to pay. The second thing is that you need to provide a photocopy of your identity card and your passport at the bank. These are the documents you take there. If you don't have a passport yet, you could still go with your ID card. And then you need a taxpayer card. Normally, if you go to taxation office, they'll easily give you a taxpayer ID. It is not expensive in Cameroon. It's actually for free. If you go to Limbe to their office there, you're going to have the tax payer ID there. The bank is going to ask you like, where is this money coming from? So you need to prove where the money is coming from. For my case, I went with my employment letter and I also went with my pay slip since I was earning, and that was the origin of my funds. I've been saving and my money has been with the bank. So I just needed to take my employment letter and pay slip to actually show that the money is coming from me. But I also know that we have our external sources. Maybe a letter from your father, your father is paying your fees, or anybody, but you just need to prove where the money is coming from. And then you also need your admissions letter, because you say you're paying fees, it means you have had admissions already, so you need to prove that you have admissions and that is what you're paying for. And when you reach at the bank, you also have to fill two forms giving permission that the bank should do this transfer
to wherever you want the bank to do the transfer. So you need your permission, and you need to be there in person to sign all of this. And mind you, if you have a savings account at any bank and you want to do an international transfer, you will need to open a current account, because money cannot leave your savings account to any other account out of the country. So you need to open a current account. So for you who does not have an account in any bank but want to leave Cameroon and want to pay fees using your bank account, I advise that now is the time for you to go to any bank, open a current account and not a savings account. Open a current account, because that's where your money is going to leave for you to pay your school fees abroad. And then you also need to show that you're paying bills in Cameroon. For my case, I was living in a city, and in that city, your rent cover your electricity, your water bill, and every other thing. So what I did is that my landlord gave me a tenancy agreement. He also gave me his identity card, and then he gave me a copy of our electricity bill, or you could go even with your water bill. You will also have to provide some information about the school. I think this is new, because the last time that I paid fees abroad, I wasn't asked this document. But when I was paying this year, I was asked to bring a document showing maybe the location, registration, and everything about the school. So I had to go online, download certain documents about the school, and then I hand it to the bank. Trust me, it's going to take like 3 weeks for this transfer to go through. So you should already be calculating your time frame. If you want to be early here before September, or maybe come early so that you can start schooling, it means you have to keep your things in place early. It means the money has to be there, so that immediately you get your admissions letter, the first thing is that you apply or you pay your school fees, because it takes time for the school to receive the money. Immediately they receive the money, they'll write back to you and tell you that I've received your school fees. And then, like I said, if you want to be sure that your money is going to be refunded, try as much as possible to pay with your bank account, or maybe the bank account of somebody you trust, so that when they do the refund, you just get it directly. Just a recap: after you have had your admission, second thing is that if you are not a scholarship student, you need to pay fees. And if you're going to bank to pay your school fees, what do you need? You need the money and the charges. You need your ID card and your passport. You need your taxpayer card. You need to prove that you need to prove the origin of the funds. You need your admission letter. You also need to fill 2 forms at the bank that are going to give you there. You need to prove that you're paying bills in Cameroon, so you can go with water bill or you go with electricity bill. And then they will also need information about the institution that you're paying. You're supposed to wait like for 3 weeks to 1 month to wait for the international transfer to be done. And if there's any refund that has to be made, the refund will be made in the account that you used to pay the school fees. So that does it for this video on how you can pay your fees, or what you need to do after you've had admissions at Obok University or other universities in Denmark. Thank you very much for watching. This has been the Village Girl Edu Kenadesh. And on this series of Village Girl Travels, I've been telling you on how I applied and what I did in order to move from Cameroon to Denmark. Stay glued to this page. We have more interesting content coming for you. Ciao, ciao.